baby, we're not doing this, we're not doing that today. That is in Sarah's voice. Warm welcome and thank you for joining us on Our Views Part 2. And this morning we're going to be discussing judging others versus constructive criticism. It's actually a continuation of some sort of Twitter jab, I beg your pardon, of Our Views Part 1. Well, joining me again, other usual suspects, I have Sarah. She will call you out. And I have Sandra. She will call you out. Well, ladies, I was reading an article online on judging. And trust me, ladies, I know that we are as guilty as charged because we do it either unknowingly or knowingly. And psychologists say judging others is something we do whether we realize it or do not. Do we have a right to judge other people, or is there an underlying cause as to that? So, ladies, is there a time when you have judged yourself? Before we go even on to other people, do you think that there are moments where you have been too harsh on yourself and judged yourself?
All the time. I'm my biggest critic, and nobody can ever say anything to me that I haven't said to myself. Matter of fact, I have said worse to myself.
Oh, I can imagine that.
Yes. That's true. That is why I find it so hard to take offense to things that people say about me. It's hard because I'm like, okay, that's how you feel. That's how you think. That's interesting. Okay. But yes, I do. I'm my biggest critic and my harshest critic. And Sandra has told me, I think a lot of people have told me, even Baxter, the producer, has told me, like, you're too hard on yourself sometimes. But no, I think it's necessary. When you see improvement and you can criticize yourself, then I think you put yourself in a position where you want to improve and just be a better person.
Okay, so how about you, Sandra?
Yes, absolutely. I used to judge myself a lot. A couple of years ago, quite a lot, and I think this really stemmed from other people's perception of me because they were judging me. And yes, like, we have all made mistakes. I've made many mistakes, and we've all made mistakes, and for a long time I really bogged myself down because of the mistakes that I had made, and I would just judge myself and tell myself, you know, you're not worthy, you can't do this and that. But only when I came to accept what has happened, like, you can't dwell on the past. All you can do is live in the present and hope for the future. Yes, and I was reading a book sometime, and it said if you acknowledge your shortcomings, then no one can hold them against you. And that was really profound to me. And I acknowledge them, and I know the mistakes I've done. So nobody else can come and tell me, you know what, you did this and this and that. I'm like, dude, or chick, I know. Like, so what do you want me to do with that information? I know, I moved on. My past is in my past. Nobody lives there anymore.
True.
I'm not that person anymore. So yes, I think it was actually a springboard for me to be the person that I am today. I'm confident. I speak to myself positively because so much stems from how you speak to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself. Positivity. You remember what the doctor told us yesterday?
Yes.
It all begins in the mind, then it manifests. And if you have this positive energy, then you radiate.
Absolutely.
And things come to you.
Make your
it
word
all begins
your
in
world.
the mind. So I adapted to that, and I'm so happy now. I'm very comfortable in the person that I am now. Like, nobody has the right to tell you who you are. You know who you are. Nobody has the right to tell you that. So once you realize that as a person, then you can live free.
Interesting. So as we go on with this discussion, I will define what judging of others means, then we shall go on to defining what constructive criticism is. Well, definition of judging others, and it says judging others is to express a bad opinion of someone's behavior, often because you think you are better than them, or a preconceived perception of who or what you think they are. So you have no right to judge other people because of what they look or what they are. Well, definition of criticism is an expression of disapproval of someone or something on the basis of perceived faults or mistakes. Now, while constructive criticism, on the other hand, focuses on providing constructive feedback supported by specific examples to help you improve in some area. Well, constructive criticism should be offered in a friendly manner and with good intention. So ladies, how are you able to tell that you're not being judgmental and you're actually giving constructive criticism?
This is the thing about placing judgment on people is many times we tend to place judgment on people when we don't know their journey.
We don't know where
we do not know where they've come from. We do not know their experience in that matter. For instance, some people will say, oh my goodness, so she allowed herself to get pregnant with a broke guy. I would never. You know nothing about her experience. You know nothing about her journey. You don't know nothing about her decisions. That is why we place judgment. We judge because we don't know. But if you were, say, for instance, a single mother who conceived for a man who is broke, you're not going to open your mouth. You're going to shut up about it. You understand? So we place judgment when we don't know the other person's experience or we know nothing about it.
But Sarah, would it be fair for someone to still come out and say, but I cannot go around knowing what everyone has been through?
This is the thing. If you have no experience, you have no say to place judgment or criticize them for their actions because you can't relate. You can't relate at all. For instance, I'm not married. I cannot come and say, oh my goodness, that wife, she's dealing with so much from her husband. I'm speaking as who? I'm not authority. I'm not an authority on that situation. So you have no right to judge. And that is where judgment comes in. People think they can speak on your situation, yet they have never walked a day in your life. When it comes to criticism, sometimes we can be harsh with our criticism, and it's because it stems from our own experience. Again, with my initial example, a single woman who gets pregnant for a guy who is broke, and now she's struggling with a child by herself. So you come with your criticism to criticize another woman for doing the same exact thing. You're trying to protect her or trying probably to advise her by, say, before she gets pregnant, say, that guy is broke, he's not going to do anything for you. So you're criticizing her relationship. You have experience from it, but now you are projecting your insecurity on her and you're criticizing her. You don't know, again, the situation around it. You don't know, perhaps her circumstances are going to be different or they're going to improve, but you're placing criticism on them because you can somewhat relate. Just like how our parents come out to criticize our bad behavior. They have been teenagers before, they have been young adults before, they have been, young mothers or first-time mothers before. They are criticizing you, not because they don't love you or don't care about you, but sometimes it is the fear of you not winding up or experiencing the things that they do. So when it comes to constructive criticism, again, a lot of people don't even know the lines drawn between all these three. Because when you come with constructive criticism, you're like, you're attacking me, you're calling me out. We talked about, calling your partner out in public. You say, no, babe, you were rude to the waiter. You're like, why are you judging me? Why are you criticizing me? Why are you embarrassing me in front of people?
Well, even as we get into understanding how you can actually tell that you're crossing the line between being judgmental or actually giving constructive criticism, yes? Sandra, I'll pose this to you in relation to what Sarah has said, and I like what you have said. However, don't you think that in that regard, if we're looking at the aspect of you do not have a right to criticize or judge me because you do not know the kind of life that I have lived, or you have no idea what I have been through, then no one would be able to call out anyone because then I have not lived a day in your shoes.
No, I don't think so. Like, you can call out someone, but it depends on the manner in which you call them out. Now, for me, what I do is, how I feel is, if someone comes and tells me, for example, that like when I was a single mom before and people really judged me for that, and I came to realize it later in life that when someone tells you hurtful things, they're coming from a place of ignorance. Let me explain. For me, I think if you are not critically thinking, if you don't apply critical thinking to a situation, then you're not thinking.
No, shots fired. Boop,
so
boop,
if you
boop.
come at me, usually I will get riled up. But most of the time now when people come at me with such, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to join this party. Because this person is not on my same wavelength of understanding.
And you're not about to make everyone
And I'm not
understand.
about to school you. So I'll just be like, you know what? you're not thinking critically.
Yes.
At this situation, look at it from a 360 angle. Understand why this person acts like this. What are the external factors? What kind of family do they come from? What have they been through?
Yeah.
Yes. What kind of friends do they have?
Yes.
Yeah, because there's nature versus nurture.
Yes.
Try to understand this. Don't just see something at face value and come. For me, it's spewing nonsense.
But you're talking about not understanding the person, not knowing, you don't understand the person's culture, you don't understand the person's background. I hope that's not an excuse as to why someone else now shouldn't receive constructive criticism. You're like, but that's the way I am.
No, I do not like that statement. That's the way I am. First of all, allow yourself to learn and to grow. Don't say that's the way you are. If you have some traits about you that are undesirable, unlearn them. Talk to this person, indulge them, unlearn them. Okay, I'm doing this, what else can I do?
Yes.
And that's why, like, if I'm calling someone out, I will first observe and come and, first think, maybe she's going through this or he's going through that or one. So when I come at you, I will say, why are you doing this and this and this? I think it would be better if you did this and this and that.
Yeah.
Don't come at people judging them. We're all dealing with issues. Don't do that.
That's
Absolutely.
true. And
But time is not on the best side. Before I allow you, Sarah, to speak, I would like to read out something, and then after that we shall have a video play. And I broke down what it means to be judgmental. What is being judgmental? Well, being a judgmental person essentially means thinking, speaking, or behaving in a manner that reflects a critical and a condemnatory point of view. When we are judgmental, we are critically nitpicking and finding fault with another person or group of people, idea, or even situation. In a nutshell, we are seeing through a filter of our black or white, that is a word that Sandra likes to use, black or white beliefs, condemning something or someone as bad, stupid, or even unworthy. But I would like us to watch this video, and just after that, we shall definitely be wrapping up this conversation.
A man was waiting at an airport for a long-distance flight. His flight was delayed, and so he had a little spare time. He saw a deal on some cookies and thought he should treat himself. He bought quite a few cookies because he thought it might be quite a long delay. He took a seat near a man and started to read the magazine he also picked up earlier. He exchanged a glance with the other man and then tried to avoid eye contact as he went back to reading. While he was engrossed in his magazine, he happened to see that the man sitting beside him boldly grabbed a cookie from the container. He initially ignored the incident to avoid a scene. He grabbed a cookie himself and went back to his magazine. But the man seemed to have enjoyed the cookie so much, he took another one and started eating it too. This continued for a while, and with each passing moment, he began to get more and more irritated. Every time he took a cookie, so did the other man. When the last cookie was left, the man nervously took that cookie and broke it in half. He offered the other to the man and smiled. The man took the cookie and could not believe the other man's nerve. He was thinking in his head, how ungrateful could that man be? The other man then left and took the container with him. This guy couldn't believe what had just happened. He was relieved when his flight was called. He gathered his belongings. As he lifted his bag, he saw that there was a full container of cookies right there. He was totally shocked, totally surprised. It caught him off guard. He thought to himself, if my cookies are here, then wait, those cookies were his. The other man had shared his cookies whilst he was thinking he was the one doing the sharing. Whilst he was angry and irritated, the other man was being generous and kind. He felt so bad for what had happened, but he couldn't find the other man anywhere and didn't know how to apologize. Things are not always as they appear. Sometimes we make quick assumptions about people, circumstances, and situations. We judge them, label them, and put them into a box, not recognizing that there is a much bigger picture. Sometimes we meet someone in a particular state, stage, or phase of their life and stereotype them to be a certain way. Don't be so quick to judge. You never know when you might find yourself walking in someone else's shoes. And remember, the best apology is changed behavior.
the ladies are tearing up. Things do not always appear to be what they are like. And the expression on Sandra and Sarah's faces, well, the Bible does say, do not judge lest you will be judged. So head on to our different social media platforms, that is on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and let us know how best we can actually continue having this conversation. Have you been in a situation where you have felt judged, or has someone given you constructive criticism? And the question is, how did you take it? Did you take it in good faith? Did you take it in bad faith? Otherwise, thank you so much for being a part of Sunrise at Sea. Good morning, and don't blink.
Well, thank you for watching Sunrise at Sea this morning. We hope you had a good time. We had a great time with you this morning. And remember, we are on air every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Well, please continue the conversations on our social media pages about calling out your partner in public and constructive criticism versus judgment. Let us know how you do it. We'd love to hear your views on this. Let's continue the convo over there. Well, that was all from me, Sandra Cobb, and the ladies, Sarah and Shivan, this morning on Sunrise at Sea. Until tomorrow, have a great day.